Welcome to the deep dive. In this deep dive, we're really plunging into a pretty intense, even unsettling passage from the Bible Judges chapter 20.
hmm
And we're not easing into it, really. This chapter kicks off with an event that's just, well, shocking. It sets the stage for everything else.
It really does. The trigger is a Levite man arriving in Gibeah, that's a town in Benjamin's territory, with his concubine. They're looking for a place to stay for the night.
And it all goes horribly wrong very quickly. Men from Gibeah surround the house. Their intentions are, well, they're violent.
Truly wicked intentions, as the text describes it. Initially, they seem to want to assault the Levite himself.
Right, but it shifts.
Yeah.
Ultimately, they turn their brutality onto his concubine. They rape her repeatedly all night long. And by morning,
Yeah.
she's dead.
Yeah. The text uses strong language, an awful thing, a lewd and disgraceful act.
It's presented as this profound violation, not just against her or him, but against, like, the basic rules of hospitality, of decency in Israel at that time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the Levite's reaction when he finds her, it's extreme, almost unthinkable for us today.
It is. He takes her body, cuts it into 12 pieces, and sends one piece to each of the 12 tribes of Israel.
Oh.
It's graphic. It's desperate. But it's meant to scream, look at this horror, look at this violence. It's a direct, incredibly shocking call for justice.
He's basically forcing all of Israel to confront this crime.
Exactly. And it works. It galvanizes the nation. That awful act in Gibeah becomes the central problem, this abomination that demands a response from everyone else.
And the response is, at first, immediate.
Hmm.
And unified, overwhelmingly so.
Yeah, the text really stresses that. All the Israelites from Dan way up north down to Beersheba in the south, even folks across the Jordan and Gilead, they come out as one man.
As one man. That phrase is so powerful, especially for Judges, a book where Israel is often, fragmented.
Totally. Tribal loyalties usually rule.
Mm.
But this crime seems to transcend that initially. They all gather at Mizpah, a key meeting place.
And the numbers are just staggering. The text says 400,000 Israelite soldiers armed with swords.
400,000. And it specifically notes this is apart from Benjamin.
Right. Setting the stage right there. The tribe where it happened isn't part of this unified front.
So the Levite stands before this massive crowd and tells them exactly what happened in Gibeah, all the awful details.
And the people, their reaction is swift, resolute. Again, as one man, they rise up. They make a vow.
None of us will go home. That's what they say. They commit to confronting Gibeah. They even use lots to decide, like, the military logistics.
Yeah, how to organize, who provides supplies for this huge army.
And their goal is absolutely clear. Give those wicked men in Gibeah what they deserve for all this vileness done in Israel.
There's this strong sense of shared responsibility, This
Yeah.
isn't just Benjamin's mess to clean up. It's seen as a stain on all of Israel.
It needs purging. So this initial unity, driven by moral outrage, it's really striking.
It is. So you've got this enormous united army, this righteous cause. You'd think they'd just march straight on Gibeah, but interestingly, they don't.
No. First they try, maybe, a less violent path, a diplomatic one.
Kind of. They send messengers to the whole tribe of Benjamin.
And the demand is pretty simple. Hand over the guilty men, the wicked men of Gibeah.
And the stated reason is explicit: to put them to death and purge the evil from Israel.
So it's framed as like an internal cleanup. Let Benjamin deal with its own criminals, restore the balance.
Exactly. It's Benjamin's chance to fix this within their own tribe.
But Benjamin refuses. The text just says flat out, they would not listen to their fellow Israelites.
And that refusal is the absolute pivot point. Now, it's not about punishing a few criminals in one town. It's Benjamin versus the rest of Israel.
Because Benjamin chooses to shield those men, to side with Gibeah against their brothers.
And they mobilize just as fast. The source gives their numbers, too. 26,000 swordsmen from Benjamin's towns.
Plus another 700 specifically from Gibeah itself. Those chosen men.
Right, so you have the entire tribe of Benjamin basically saying, we stand with Gibeah against the other 11 tribes.
And there's that detail about those 700 men from Gibeah. It's fascinating.
Yeah, it specifically mentions they were left-handed slingers. And not just average ones, they could sling a stone at a hare and not miss.
Wow.
It's not just trivia, it tells you Benjamin's forces, especially from Gibeah, might be small, but they're skilled, elite even, precise fighters.
Okay, so the battle lines are drawn. It's 400,000 Israelites against, what, about 26,700 Benjamites?
Roughly, yeah. On paper, it looks like no contest.
You'd expect a swift, decisive victory for the larger force.
That's the logical assumption. But the story takes a really sharp, unexpected turn. Before the first battle, the Israelites go up to Bethel. They consult God.
They ask, who goes first? Who leads the attack against Benjamin?
And the answer comes back, Judah shall go first.
Okay, so the next morning, the massive Israelite army moves towards Gibeah. Battle number 1.
They take up positions, probably feeling pretty confident, numbers, righteousness.
And then disaster. Utterly shocking.
Benjamin comes out fighting, and they cut down 22,000 Israelites.
22,000 from an army that outnumbered them almost 15 to 1.
Exactly. A devastating defeat, a huge loss of life on day one. This wasn't just a setback, it was a slaughter.
How did they react? Did they just give up?
Surprisingly, no. The text says they actually encouraged one another. They got ready to fight again, but they're clearly stunned.
I bet. So they go back, they weep before the Lord until evening. They ask God again. And their question this time kind of reflects that pain, doesn't it? Should we? Should we go up again to fight our brothers, the Benjamites?
Yeah, you can feel the doubt, the hurt, and the Lord's answer is very brief. Just go up against them.
No explanation for the loss.
None given, just the command. Go fight again.
Okay. So, trusting that, day 2, they go back. They approach Benjamin again.
And history repeats itself.
Yeah.
Tragically, the Benjamites come out again.
And cut down another 18,000 Israelites.
18,000 more.
That's 40,000 soldiers killed in 2 days. 40,000. By a much smaller force.
It's just mind-boggling. And it really underlines something deep here. Their numbers weren't enough. Their initial unity wasn't enough. Even asking God who should go first wasn't enough.
It suggests maybe their approach, or I don't know, maybe their hearts.
Yeah.
Something wasn't right yet, even though they were fighting against clear evil.
Absolutely. This second crushing defeat forces them into a much deeper kind of seeking God.
The text says all the people go up to Bethel this time, and their actions are way more serious.
Yeah, they sit there weeping. They fast all day until evening. They offer burnt offerings, fellowship offerings.
This isn't just asking a quick question. This is national mourning. It's repentance. It's trying to get right with God.
And the source adds that really significant detail. The Ark of the Covenant was there, and Phinehas, Aaron's grandson, the high priest, was ministering before it.
The ark represented God's actual presence, bringing it there. That shows the absolute gravity of this moment. Total seriousness now, after the shock of those 2 losses. So they ask their question a third time, maybe with more humility, more desperation. Do we go up again to fight Benjamin, our brother, or stop?
And this time, the Lord's answer is different. It's decisive, and there's a promise attached.
Go, for tomorrow I will give them into your hands.
That's the assurance they needed, the explicit promise of victory.
And with that promise, now Israel changes tactics. They finally realize just throwing soldiers at the problem isn't the answer.
Right. Based on God's word this time, they come up with an actual strategy, an ambush.
They set fighters in hiding around Gibeah.
So day 3, they put the plan into action. The main Israelite force marches out like before.
Yep, presenting the same kind of frontal attack, trying to draw the Benjamites out of the city again.
And it works. Benjamin comes out confident. They start attacking the Israelites who pretend to retreat. They even kill about 30 men initially.
They think it's happening again. We're winning just like before. They fall right into the trap. So while the main force lures the Benjamites away from Gibeah, towards a place called Baal Tamar,
the ambush force, hidden to the west of Gibeah, makes its move. They charge into the city.
The text also mentions a crack force, 10,000 of Israel's finest men, attacking Gibeah directly too. So it's like a coordinated pincer movement.
A much smarter plan, multi-pronged, designed to overwhelm them. And the Benjamites, chasing the main group, they have no idea their city is being taken behind them.
And this time, the Lord defeats Benjamin. The text says it explicitly. Strategy plus divine help turns the tide.
Completely. And the signal for the main force is crucial. The ambushers who take Gibeah send up a huge cloud of smoke from the burning city.
Imagine the Benjamites, still in pursuit, turning around and seeing that. Smoke billowing from their home base.
The text says they turn, they see it, and they're terrified. They realize disaster had come upon them.
The trap is sprung, their city's gone, they're caught.
And then it becomes a rout. They try to flee towards the desert, but there's no escape this time. The main Israelite force turns back on them.
Other Israelites from nearby towns join in. They're surrounded, chased down relentlessly.
The scale of the killing is just immense. 18,000 Benjamite fighters fall right there near Gibeah in the main battle.
But the pursuit continues. They cut down another 5,000 along the roads, then another 2,000 further on, near Gittim, was it?
Yes. The final tally given is grim. 25,000 Benjamite swordsmen killed. And it emphasizes these were valiant fighters.
It's almost total annihilation of their army.
Almost. The source says 600 men managed to escape. They fled into the wilderness to a place called the Rock of Rimmon and hid there for 4 months.
Just 600 left out of over 26,000. A tiny remnant.
And what happens next is, frankly, horrifying. The victorious Israelites return to the territory of Benjamin.
And it's not just about the soldiers anymore, is it?
No. It's total destruction. They put all the towns to the sword, everyone in them, even the animals, everything they find.
And they burn the towns. Every single one they come across in Benjamin, set on fire.
It goes so far beyond punishing the guilty men in Gibeah. This is collective destruction, tribal annihilation almost.
Wow. So that initial call for specific justice against a few wicked men, it just spiraled into this devastating war that nearly wiped out an entire tribe.
Exactly. A horrific crime met with refusal by Benjamin to administer justice, followed by Israel's initial failures, maybe military, maybe spiritual, then a desperate seeking of God, a change in strategy, and finally, this overwhelming, utterly devastating victory.
So looking back on this deep dive into Judges 20, we've tracked this path from one awful event to a national crisis. We saw those shocking defeats against the odds. Then that desperate turn back to God, the shift in strategy, and ultimately a victory that came at this unbelievable cost, the near destruction of Benjamin.
It really lays bare the consequences when evil isn't dealt with, but also the complexities of justice versus vengeance, and how fragile unity can be, even among people who are supposed to be family, brothers.
The sheer scale of the killing, the cost of that division, it's stark.
And it makes you think about what this story tells us about that specific time in Israel's history. The intertribal dynamics, the brutality described.
Yeah. What really stands out is that escalation. How one act of wickedness, one refusal to deal with it, could just ignite this firestorm that consumes almost an entire tribe.
The chain reaction is just terrifying, leading to such immense loss, such total destruction.
And that leaves us with something to really think about, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How does that single act, that abomination, spiral so far out of control? It doesn't just punish the guilty few, it leads to the near extinction of a whole group, the burning of all their homes.
What are the echoes of that kind of cycle? Wickedness followed by demands for justice, maybe met with resistance leading to collective conflict, devastating retribution, even when the initial cause might seem just. Do we see patterns like that play out elsewhere, in history, or even today?
It's a powerful and, sobering story. It really challenges you to think about justice, division, the human cost of conflict, especially when it's brother against brother.
A very heavy chapter, indeed.